All right, I'm back. Back. Let's go ahead and put this in. Yep. All right. Boom. Yeah, there we go. Connected. Boom. We rocking. Man, doing this myself today, right? Yep. Just like every day, just back. Guys, back with another show. We back to do this thing one more time. And I'm thankful. I'm a little bit late today simply because my wifey is at home and your boy is entertaining her, then taking care of some things on for a real estate closing, then doing this, and I got multiple things. There's no excuse. Definitely wanted to show up today. Can't have not one day that I don't show up. And I'm thinking about doing this now, switching it and doing it uh, every day, except for Sundays. We'll see. Say every day, every day. See. But I'm thinking about doing that, and I don't know, but I appreciate all this feedback that I get. Definitely from you guys over there in the comments. You guys are interesting people. I love to meet new people. And it's always cool. I got the link to the Patreon underneath there. You can join that. We could talk more about real estate, talk more about some of these things, which one thing I wanted to cover today, but I'm probably not going to cover AI, man. And I've been leveraging the heck out of AI for a lot of my stuff, man, from thumbnails down to even basic design colors and fonts and what it should look like. I get a lot from that, man. I think people are really just sleeping on it. I really do think they're sleeping on it. But either way, that's probably not what I'm going to cover today. 100% pretty sure. I'm going to cover some other stuff. Yeah. And I appreciate every single person as we gauge up to 1,000 subs and about 100 or so short on those 1,000 subs. I appreciate everyone that thinks me talking is worth listening to. Please share it with somebody that can bear listening to me. Can bear listening to my behind talk. And if you're feeling a little bit generous, you can go over to the Real Leon Duncan. My other channel, which we're going to start streaming at night. Started doing some daytime streaming. I wanted to get the studio ready. Just wanted it to be just a real comfortable spot. Not like here's pretty comfortable. I'm at my main desk, but I work my real estate from here. But I wanted to set up just just a standalone spot where I can atmosphere, different conversation. I can invite people like my wife over. She could talk about her stuff. We could talk about topics, whatever it may be. But it's the real me, man. When I put this channel together, I put it together really for business purposes. But I wanted people to be aware of not just buying a real estate property, which is cool, because I don't try to sell my services, even though you're welcome to use me if you're in the Atlanta area. We do have a flat fee service system where we list your house flat fee for $5.99. But 18 years experience in the business. I wanted to be able to just talk not just about real estate because I thought it was just boring talking about real estate when you've got all these other things that make real estate what it is. You got everything from culture, politics, world news. All these things kind of make real estate what it is right now, Um, yeah. Yeah. So it's dope. And I wanted to make sure I brought that to light because some of us that's out here in the real estate space, whether we're looking at property, commercial or residential, we look at these different things. Culture means something. It does. And it helps a lot of us to be able to determine where we purchase, where we don't buy in, where we buy in, where we lead other people to, And more than anything before that, I think I'm more of an investor's agent. So cool. I just wanted to share that. And if you're looking to get into real estate, I think I put together a guide is in there. You can download. It's free. How to get into real estate working with investors. Mm. Yep. And we got the drawing that's going to take place for Live Free Give Hope on the 31st, which is tomorrow. If you entered, the sweepstakes has already closed. Unfortunately, if you missed it, you really did miss it. That's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath we're giving away in Atlanta, Georgia. But don't feel upset after we do this drawing on the 31st. We're going to be doing another sweepstakes apartment giveaway, 100% for real. This, so you see that we gave this one away. Ooh, got another, and we're going to give the next one away. Yeah. Yup. Yeah, give me 2 hours in a minute. Yeah. Boom. All right. So, what are we going to talk about today? Man, I've got a little bit of everything that we're going to tackle on today. That Somalia daycare fraud, crazy. Trump is going to be garnishing wages based on your loans, student loans. You don't pay those things. And some crazy things going down in Atlanta, man. We got a bunch of closings that's taking place for commercial businesses in Atlantic Station, Midtown. We'll talk a little bit about the tax incentives. Why aren't they doing this? What's going on down there in its entirety? And Atlanta voter admission. Atlanta they voted, they admitted that the elections, 2020 elections, was stolen. No, they didn't say it was stolen. They said they messed up. So, honey, you need to, I don't know. Yeah. $2.5 million home squatter. So we got a squatter that is squatting at a property. 2.5 million. Wow. They don't stop at all, boy. I tell you. Woohoo. But yeah. This is where we're at. So let's start off with this fraud that's taking place in Minnesota. I'm going to give you my opinion on it. I'm going to let you listen to this. But there was recently a podcaster. What is his name? Nick? First name is Nick. Apologize, man, if I missed his name. Let me get his name right because I got to definitely give him his props, man, because he actually was able to go and chase down all of this daycare fraud taking place in Minnesota. Fraud, Minnesota. And when you get mentioned by, Nick Shirley. Yeah, Nick Shirley. And so he investigated a $1 billion fraud scandal that's taking place in Minnesota. Man, go to his channel, check it out. He's already got 1.4 million views on this. And but I did take a couple clips from it because he's talking to a lot of people in this and outlining line by line where this money is going to. And where we thought at the beginning it was just some SNAP benefits, the SNAP benefits was just the beginning of this social services fraud scandal. And the reports say that this is up to about 19 million right now. Damn, 19 million. Oh no. You know, the thing that's so crazy about this is when I'm looking at it, I mean, they're buying cars, they're buying houses, they're sending money back to Somalia. Who knows where this money's going? But eventually, and he got a bunch of people that's pissed off at him. He's got a lot of people on the left because you're in Minnesota right down there, and they don't believe in governing their people. They don't believe. I don't know what is it with Minnesota. This liberal belief in Minnesota that we're not supposed to check and hold accountable the people that are in power, what they do with the money, and more importantly, because somebody says that they're black, and another reason because somebody says that they're black and they're an immigrant, that doesn't mean they get to do what the hell they want to do. That doesn't mean it. And what I can clearly see from looking at these videos is that Nick got into it and he did some detail searching. And now the questions is going to be asked for all you guys that are liberal, that believe in liberal politics, that believe that we need to protect you just because of your color. If you did wrong, you get wrong, right? But believe that the man's coming after them because of their color and where they're coming from, okay? That these guys are victims. Nick Shirley does a really good dive into this. And I had to go like and follow his channel, man, because it highlights where we thought this was just SNAP benefits. We even said this was probably feeding the homeless benefits that the government gives to people that's in need. You see, the government gave this to people. That means the government helped these people who were in need. And they turned around and did what they did. We thought it was there, but it goes into daycares now. No, so we're talking daycares. We're talking transportation services. Insane.
Now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center. Absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside.
Okay, so just to bring you on, he is going from daycare to daycare. These daycares that are saying that they are daycares funded by the federal government for refugee immigrant dollars, daycare subsidies in Minnesota, federal money. So he's going to these daycares to see, are they operational? If to what capacity? And while he's doing it, he's being trailed. He's being followed by a group of Somalian men.
$5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up!
Man, this is so... You know why I like doing these topics? Because you meet the strangest, most interesting things and people. I like these weird topics. I like this type of stuff because you see how weird this is. You're standing in front of a business screaming, "Don't open up," to the people that's in there. ICE. Like this little skinny 125-pound little white boy is ICE. Don't open up. So has politics made people so crazy and insane that they just do this stuff? And to me, I think that's it, right? It must be politics which you hold as your God, making it so weird. Because this is weird. Who does that? Who does that?
We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million
Don't
over
open
the
up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that?
Slotted for 99 children and $4 million. Wow. Total fraud, $19 million. What?
Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know
You're
what
not welcome here!
Are you-
Shame on you!
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you! It's
going
ice!
illegally,
Don't open up!
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's ice!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare
Minnesota
center.
says 99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funds.
Look at how stupid her face looks. Look at that. She just looks stupid. She like, what the heck did I get my ass into?
Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation contributing, but they never had a passenger, never ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
And click right here to see what happens next.
Wow. So we're talking about billions now. First it started with SNAP. Then they went on to feeding those in need or feeding the children. Now we're seeing daycares. And then he's actually beginning to show that it's not just daycares. Now we're into transportation businesses. So it looks like this is a whole web, a whole scheme of fraudulent businesses that are set up in order to drain money from the federal government through subsidies and different funding sources that you get from the government. See, this is why it makes fighting against and saying that this is something and painting these guys as being victims. This is, to me, when you have 800 transportation companies, when you've got hundreds of daycare centers that aren't full to the capacity that they're reporting or even full at all. And when you take the stance that people are coming to persecute Somalians and attack the Muslim faith and make them the enemy, no, they made themselves the enemy of everything that is America, of all the giving, all of the love, the generosity, taxpayers, people that come in like you and me that pay our taxes and we're out there. They're taking fully advantage of it. So they're not the victims. Don't think that this is something that is and what's worse than this too is I can't live in denial that Tim Walz, that Ilhan Omar, that they had some level of consciousness. They were aware of what was taking place. Because you got to be aware. You can't be the governor and you can't be a congresswoman over a district and not be aware of some of the fraud things that are taking place, and especially for Ilhan Omar, for people that look just like her. People that look just like her, who I'm pretty sure reach out to her office or she's met and spoken to, have had interactions with, that show that they have these businesses, but clearly there's no activity taking place in them. And what's the worst part about this is it makes immigrants who come in and do the right thing, it makes them look bad. It really does. It makes the ones who come in and they came here and they can contribute to society and actually add to society, it makes them look bad. It makes them look bad. Because now, why would you want to even accept people from a country? And I'm not even saying that all Somalians are bad, but the reality of it is we're talking about 80% of the Somalians there, 85% that they're saying are naturalized or citizens, right? That within a population that more than 60% of them depend on the federal government for subsidies and aid. So yeah, it is crazy. So now you got to question and say, okay, now everybody depending on the federal government to be subsidized for aid, for assistance with SNAP, medical, welfare, you got to check them out too. Regardless of whatever anyone wants to say, because if you have businesses, we're talking about hundreds of transportation companies. We're talking about tons of thousands, dozens and dozens of daycare centers that get upwards of $1 million, $2 million a year to take care of 999 kids, and they don't have one child. What do you think is going to look like when you start talking about welfare, SNAP benefits, and so forth? I would figure that every Black American that actually came up in the hood, that came up in the ghetto, that actually had to deal with getting who moms or pops or people in them was on welfare would be very upset, because growing up back in the day when you had to deal with SNAP, when you had to deal with welfare, that wasn't something that everybody was talking about. We made jokes about welfare cheese, But now when you get out of the hood and you get out of that lifestyle and you're so far distant from it and you're thankful that God brought you out of it, you should have a level of frustration and anger towards these guys. You should. Who come in here and just for whatever reason, I know what reason, because the Democratic Party told them it was okay, or people looked at them being foreign immigrants and didn't want to offend them. And that's the same thing with some of you white people. I tell you, brothers and sisters, just because you white, if it's wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter whether it's Black, Indian, Chinese, or even white. But to really come to that place and realize that these people have been massively defrauding the government, massively. I mean, they got more fraud than any hood or PJ or project or drug dealer. Billions. And you got to follow the money. And that's the rule. You follow the money. Where is the money at? Where's the money going to? And yeah, there should be concern, especially when you're talking about foreign nationals who get access to millions of dollars just because they are who they are. Does any of that money end up now in Somalia? One thing we know it didn't end up in was our system. We know that for a fact. We know for a fact that it did not end up anywhere in the United States outside of the houses they may have purchased, cars they may have bought. But I'm keeping an eye on it because this is billions of fraud, billions and billions. I would say, I wonder if this is probably the most massively fraud, the heaviest level of fraud that we've ever experienced when it comes to social services and systems. Man, I tell you. And we're just in the first year of Donald Trump. Just in the first year of Donald Trump, which is awesome. We got 3 more years to go. Imagine how much fraud we're going to figure out and find out in these next 3 years. Imagine how things are going to change. Some of y'all don't want to imagine it. That's your problem. Doesn't matter. But the fraud is real, yo. And I think they're going to probably do something about it. And Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, imagine this guy ended up becoming VP. Would these stories ever get out? Nah, I don't think so. All right, so let's move on to our next story. I am Donald Trump is going to garnish all you guys' wages when you don't pay your student loans. Now, I can rant about this. I was given student loans and ability to go because when I joined the military, they paid for school and they gave me access to Montgomery GI Bill and tuition repayment. Some people weren't as fortunate, wasn't as fortunate. So now, if you are not in forbearance, you will definitely, you can see your wages getting garnished based on what's taking place going into 2026 with the Trump administration.
Garnishing my check for student loans is crazy. That just feels so illegal because how dare you? As a citizen of this country, I deserve the right to a free education. And I guess I could have had that if I went to a community college, but I wanted to stay on campus. Regardless, my education should have been free here. Oh, they can kiss my ass.
We are slaves to student debt.
Between myself and my children, I owe $211,000 in student loan debt.
I borrowed $60,000 and now I'm $268,000 in debt.
I borrowed $70,000. Over 10 years, I paid $60,000, and I still owe $75,000 more than I borrowed.
The interest is so high and it's compounded daily. It's predatory.
If these loans don't go away, they're going to garnish my Social Security. So not only do I not have any retirement savings, I have less than what I was promised for every time I paid my Social Security out of my paycheck.
Hey guys, so this garnishment issue is not going to go away even when Trump, if we go through these next 3 years and we don't have a Republican in office, or even if we have a Republican in office, for the sake of being fiscally secure and doing the right thing when it comes to American taxpayer money, I'm happy that Donald Trump turned around and changed the what's viewed as a diploma or professional degree. Because when I hear this from people that borrowed $60,000 in student debt, today I owe $268,000 for the last 40 years, that's crazy. It's stupid. That means to tell me that the education you invested in couldn't help raise your financial awareness. Not just that, but also your financial ability or positioning to be able to pay your $60K student loan. That's the stupidest education that you can actually have, is the education that can't pay it for itself. And now when I talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad, like Robert Kiyosaki, Kiyosaki's books like Fake Money, Fake Teachers, all these things, fake. There's a book by Robert Kiyosaki called Fake. It's fake education. This is what we're seeing is fake education. It's not because your money's being garnished or there's a potential for your money to be garnished for not paying your student loans. The bigger problem is you invested your time, energy, and student loan money into a degree that's worthless. So now you can't turn around and pay the $60K. If anything, it puts you in a worse situation because you probably borrowed $60K to make $60K, and really you're not making $60K. You're making somewhere around $40, $45K. So you'll never be able to repay that. And you'll put it in forbearance. You'll let it run. And next thing you know, you got $268K in front of you, and it's 40 years later. We have to know and be conscious of what we invest our money in. Right now, investing your time in your education in things that are AI related, blockchain related, AI cybersecurity related. These are things that cloud-based storage related. These are things that will actually grow and scale the market. This will scale your value in the market. I took the time to learn about prompt engineering and AI engineering simply because writing better prompts will help me produce better content through the AI mechanism, the AI large learning model mechanism, large learning model. But through it, I'll be able to now program AI and get what I'm looking for from it, and not be scratching my head asking my kids or asking somebody else, how do you do this? How do you build a receptionist that answers incoming calls, shoots you a text message with it? How do you do that? How do I put that into actively in my business, and what does that look like? So now we've got this big gap that's taking place, and people are going to need to know these skills. This is the false education. This is the result of false education, learning things that we really don't need to know. We don't. It seems like the degrees that they got were worthless. They should have said what degree they got to be a warning to others. And a lot of people don't share. I think it's a shame that comes with that. Saying I got a degree in social, what is it? Let's say social sciences. You want to be a psychiatrist, but you really don't make any money. And I've seen psychiatrists. I mean, I have a little cousin, he goes to a psychiatrist, and I know what they get paid and how they get paid. It's not, I mean, they do a great service helping people kind of deal with their thoughts. But if they're going 60,000, 70,000 into debt to come out to be able to do a $35 to $150 session, you got to wonder if this makes sense or not. And we keep talking about it. I've always been an advocate for learning what you need to know at that point in time. When I needed to know how to sell real estate, I learned real estate. When I needed to know how to wholesale and do creative things, I learned that. When I needed to know business and how to structure an LLC, I learned that. I didn't take the time and say, oh, I'm going to do 50 courses, one of them being basket weaving and clay sculpting in order to get a degree in business. Even though, now don't get it twisted, these things are important. You can get a degree. I'm not saying don't get a degree. Get a degree, but make it just make sense. And we got to tell our children this, because they're still under this deception. And I have to get with my daughter on this, because she's a double threat. I tell her, you are an entrepreneur. Your line is awesome. You have a great clothing, a great jewelry line, and you're an A student, not just an A student, but you're honor, doing college courses in high school. Now, don't be deceived if you go into these courses and you know more than others. They come out and you go in for engineering, you come out, you're making 98. Don't get to the place of saying that, oh man, I made this degree, engineering degree, this is it, and this is where it stops. Because we know where we're going to in the future. Where we're going to is there's no such thing as just having one job. You really do need to have a business, and you really do need to brand yourself. Like, you got to have your own brand. You have to be your own brand. And I see it through LinkedIn influencers, how they put content out there on LinkedIn, and they're their own brand, and they're telling people about how to sell, how to integrate AI workflow into your daily base. They become more valuable to that employer that says, oh man, shoot, this kid is always telling this. We got a spot open. Let's see if we can bring him on. The game is changing. The game is changing. My friend, we're getting out of the Marines. His wife got a creative writing degree for children's books, ended up being a bank teller after she graduated. I've seen shit like that so much, man, and it's crazy. We get into a place where we just get into that days where we think having a degree is going to solve our situation and what's going on inside, like the tug of war. Or some of them get it for a level of significance. I used to laugh at the fact that women in the 60s and the 70s were advocating to be free from men, this whole rise of feminism, to be free from men, getting their degree when the men were paying the bills in the house, and it was really a soft life. So a bunch of women got on board with that. Now you've got this ideology, because not all women need to have degrees. Not all people need to have degrees. Some of y'all really should have found a man, got married, had children. Honestly, you really should have. And you would really probably don't want to hear that, but that probably would have been the most significant purposeful thing you could do with your life. And in the midst of that, discover yourself and then find out that you can have a second career and a second life outside of the house, doing other things too. But you didn't need to do that. And you say, how do I know? Leon, you're being sexist. You're being worthless. Because how do I know? I've seen it. I've seen it through women. I've seen it, the mistakes that they've made. I've seen it, the places that they're in right now, providing for their family. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. And what's worse than that is a lot of these people like her provide evidence and proof of what I'm saying is being true. Look, you're like, Leon, how have you seen it? Personally, I've seen it. Personally, I've seen it. Personally, I've seen it. There are women that really, I guess they fight the whole social structure of being a woman and being at home with children, or they find value as a woman through their degree and their education. Your value as a woman, we don't value based on, men don't value based on your education, your degree. And I'm pointing the finger at women, and I'm talking about women, but honestly, it's men too. It's not just women, man. It's men too. It's trying to find significance in things like this, and you can't find your significance in anything like this.
For the last 40 years.
I'm the very first person in my family that ever went to college. But I am the worst off right now than everybody in my family.
Taking out student loans.
She's the... I don't even think she realized what she said. If you were somebody listening to this, it sounds to me like she's saying going to college made her the worst off in her family.
This was the worst mistake of my life.
Life insurance policies just to pay student debt. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Yes.
Joe Biden can fix this, and he can fix it today. There's the provision 902.2, which
Biden ain't fixed shit. Man, this is what I'm saying. Like, dude, this is sad, bro. This is really horrible. This is really bad. This is really sad. Oh my God. It's sad to see this. You know, low key, I'm glad I was a C student. I'm glad I was a CB student. I'm glad. I looked at it and I looked at the system. I said, this shit doesn't make sense. I'm glad. It just took people just telling me, like my uncle, man, listen, go to the military. You're going to learn a lot in the military. You can get money for school there. And then you know how you like to do this. And you know how you like to do that. You got all this energy. You like martial arts. You like fighting. You like doing this, blah, blah, blah. Go. Dope. Best bit of advice. Only thing I probably wished he would have tiered on top of that was, while you're in it, get a technical. While you're in there, get a technical. And that's what I tell my son. I told my son this. I told my little cousins this. I told a couple of my friends' children this. Go. You don't even have to go full time. You can go reserve. If you have no children, you have no responsibility, fuck, go see the world. Go do it. And get some skills while you're there. Stack your cheddar while you're in. You only got 4 years. That's it. But there's so many alternative paths, and I'm not saying do what I do or do it like this. Hell, some of these kids need to come out and just go to HVAC school. Need to be a plumber, need to be an electrician. They need to do it. They got bamboozled.
Need to check it out and try to get a repayment plan going on before they do that, because I can't afford to have my wages seized.
The Trump administration announcing today it's moving forward with a plan to begin seizing pay from student loan borrowers in default. We could see that change come as soon as January. Ozarks First, Michael McLaughlin live in Springfield tonight. He spoke to a resident still paying off her debt today and a financial advisor on how people can stay in control of their money.
Yeah, you're right about that. The maturity aspect, we ask these kids to be mature, 18, coming out of high school, seniors. I know I wasn't mature. And that's why we wonder when they get to some of these colleges, they pledge to frats and they do the stupid crazy shit. Or they get on college campuses and they argue that the whole system is effed up and people need to leave. That's not, it's a conditioned immature mind. It's just a conditioned immature mind. It's a mind that hasn't experienced any level of stress upon it, nor had any real challenges outside of memorize this and have this back in in 2 days in this pile or submit it online on this site. That's not maturity. That's not maturity. Maturity has to come is forced to come based upon your decisions you make. And those decisions have to have some level of stress on your mind and body, training you to make better decisions and to have a level of critical thinking about what you execute upon. These are some of the things when people, I look at some of the countries that allow their kids to go to the military and it's a required service before actually going into civilian life. I wonder why we don't have that. I wonder why. If we had that, I believe the level of maturity in our country would skyrocket. But at the same time, you still would have the advocates that say we have the right to not do that, and what you're required, this goes against our freedom. And that's true. That's why it's got to be served. But we fall behind in not allowing them to mature like China does. I mean, their children, regardless if you like it or not, their children are very mature, very mature.
Right, so when someone doesn't make a loan payment within 9 months, it'll then become defaulted, meaning that the government will have the right to take around 15% of their wage to pay off said debt.
I was not aware of that. They have already been seizing my tax refund every year.
Jessica Carey tells me she still has a significant amount of student debt to pay off.
I think it's about 60 grand or something like that. I got a bachelor's degree, then I went to grad school for a year, and then I did some other stuff and borrowed a bunch.
She says she can't afford to go into
a bachelor's degree and grad school. Damn. Man, jeez.
Default.
I really do need to check it out and try to get a repayment plan going on before they do that. Because I can't afford to have my wages seized. Tax season's coming up, and I don't want them to, I really needed that refund this year, so I don't know what to do.
I spoke to Richard Baker with Fervent Wealth Management. He tells me the first thing borrowers should do is see what can be done to get caught up on payments.
You don't want to owe Uncle Sam money, right? So do whatever you can. They're workable, they're common sense people. So reach out to them saying, what payments do I need to make? Is there a minimum payment I need to do to get out of default so that you can be in control.
And then adjust your weekly budget accordingly.
The main thing on your budget is to make it breathable. You don't want the anxiety, you don't want the stress, so figure out ways to lower what you can, and it's usually those big lever items. It's your rent, it's your budget, it's your gas, it's your utilities.
For those struggling in Springfield, Baker recommends taking advantage of local resources.
Credit counseling services is part of the Catholic Charities here.
Man. This is some BS, bro. This is really BS, bro. It's really, it is. All of the pride and arrogance that these people hold in telling you to get your degree and to commit yourself to pay, let this pay your spend the money on your education. It's twisted. It's so twisted. It's so twisted, and we keep running into it faster and harder. I'm going to say this and I'm going to go to the next program. Your life will change when you stop listening to everybody telling you what to do and listen to what God is telling you in your spirit to do. Because I'm so happy. I remember I was in my second semester at Morehouse, and I told my aunt, I'm not going to Morehouse in Atlanta. I'm going to quit school and I'm going to become a real estate agent. I'm going to become a real estate broker, and I want to go into real estate. And it wasn't something that I thought through at all. It was something that I'm literally praying at the kitchen table. My mom had left. I had just gotten back. What was it? was it? I had just gotten back from a tour in this is right after my first year serving 9/11, when 9/11 hit. And when I got back, my intention was to go and finish school because it cut right into the middle of the semester. Had to go, mobilize immediately. I was in the reserve at that time. And boy, when I came back and I told her I'm not going to finish school, I'm just going to go in and get my real estate license, she looked at me like I was crazy. Like I was crazy. Nope. Mind you, nobody took the time to say, you're getting a degree from a liberal arts school. You probably want to, if you're going to do business, you probably want to go to a B school, probably if that's what you want to focus on. But even if they would have told me it, when I looked at how much money was being spent just to go to school there and that I was paying out of pocket, God, I was so happy my mom was working for Spelman at that time. I started to get, to do that. But I realized it wasn't, and I knew that it wasn't going to work when I got back. The president of Morehouse, when I went in to do my degree, get my classes back, show that I'm out of service right now and I need to get back in my classes, blah blah blah. Give them all the military stuff that they needed. First question was, how are you going to pay for it? I said, my mom works at Spelman. She's been there the last 7 years. She qualifies. I go to school free. I was just here last year, but I got, activated for military service, blah, blah, blah. Them jokers said, well, you've already reached the age restriction. I'm like, damn, what do you mean age restriction? You've already reached the age restriction. I think the age restriction was 19, or I think it was. It was right there, like 19. The signs that I needed to make a change and didn't need to go down that route was staring me right there in the face. The direction was given to me. A lot of people just keep running and running and running, and we look for these things to validate us. And I wanted that to validate me. Think about it. I mean, a Morehouse grad, all I could see that, oh yeah, prior military. Look at my pedigree, prior military, Morehouse grad, served, MI, did da-da-da-da-da, in the Army, did this. It would have dressed me up for Congress like some type of constituency, something. I was building my personal resume. No, don't do Morehouse. I said, okay, let me go to Georgia Tech, Georgia State. Don't do Tech State. Go and learn business out there in the wild, dealing with people and their shit. And what truly is business. Learn it. Suffer after grad school. I wonder if the other suffer was probably studying abroad, which is other stuff. Oh, other stuff. Yeah. Studying abroad, which is a big cost. Or my favorite, just add it to my account and I would pay once I get my job. Yeah, that is the thing, right? Add it to my account and I'll pay it once I get my job. The biggest piece is knowing what you need to do. Don't let somebody tell you how you design. Basically, don't tell them. Don't let them tell you how you design. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. I want to talk about Chicago. Because Chicago is experiencing something that is very weird when you look at how much money the city makes. When you look at how valuable the land is in Chicago, well positioned, great city, so many things. They just running this place into a piece of shit. And it's sad to say it, but when I saw these tax bills that came out, and as being someone in real estate that I've dealt with tax bills and had to deal with this crap, I said, man, I don't know what I would do if my tax bill came back and it's triple. fucking planning. I don't know what I would do. What are they going to do? And the time slot to fix this is really, and is going. When they hit 2026, depending on the municipality for Cook County, it's going to cut off. They can only appeal it. But really, if it's everybody, you got to run an audit and find out what's going on. You really do. Everybody. I haven't seen one where someone said my tax bill went down. If it didn't double, it tripled. Yeah, it should be able to, you're supposed to leave a school when you hit a certain threshold. But Cook County had a board meeting, and I wonder if they're going to drag out this mayor. I just wonder what they're going to do with this guy.
I guess $1 Million Tony couldn't make it today. She too busy loving her home she just got for $1 million, while we just received these high property tax bills. So we all here because of our property taxes. Some here, like Zoe and Miss Jessica, because y'all stealing black people property. So I just want to know, because we just came from the city council meeting. We're coming there, and the city is blaming the county. And now you just...
Okay, so I know there's a conspiracy. People say stealing black people's property. I'm gonna spell this out for you. Most of these properties are in what, predominantly African American areas, minorities. You did have illegal immigrants that were forced. Well, African Americans that were forced to live with illegal immigrants in the same communities. So when we go to bid on tax on properties, when there's an auction called a tax auction, tax deed, and it's true in Chicago, like it is down here in Atlanta, in Georgia, true in Florida. My father-in-law used to buy a bunch of these. I know a girl that she built her whole portfolio off of tax deeds. They can buy these taxes when they go delinquent for these property owners and tack on top of it, depending on the municipality and the state guidelines, it can be 5%, 10, 15, 19% on top of that tax bill. So now the city doesn't incur that delinquency. It's almost like the tax investor saying, I'm going to buy the taxes off of your hands, city of Chicago, so you don't have to deal with the delinquent tax. And I'm going to collect the money from the homeowner, the residents, the person who owns the property. And when they pay me back, they're going to pay me back plus this in interest. So when they're saying there's a grab for land and for property, we are talking about some of the most expensive property in the Midwest. Chicago, you can't sleep on it. The property's still very, very expensive, very well positioned. But it makes it now where it becomes easier for companies who do this type of tax investing, which we got a big one in Atlanta, in Georgia, that does it. I think it's called land, something land. But they buy delinquent taxes left and right. And they do it in Atlanta big. And once they got it, there's only a period of time between that you can go missing this tax, or trying to pay it off bit by bit until it just snowballs into a big clusterfuck. And that property moves from delinquent tax position to now we can foreclose on it because of that. And now, if you don't have a bank that comes out to secure and cover their position and to buy those taxes before it goes into foreclosure, which some of these banks do, you're going to be left with people that specialize in buying tax deeds, tax delinquent properties, gobbling up a lot of this land the same way they were gobbling it up in Atlanta when it came to coming out of the Great Housing Reset. Yeah. So this is, when I say what's happening just clear across the board, because it's not just Chicago. You got a bunch of other municipalities that are feeling this, but Chicago got hit really hard because when you carrying, what is that? I think it's, 500 million, some crazy 300 million obscene number when it comes to taking care of illegal immigrants, that because you're a sanctuary city, so you got to take care of them and you got to provide for them and do all those different things. Who's going to pay for it? The tax people. This is why Donald Trump is going to stay where he is. This is why this second midterm, this is why local politics may actually start to change its face in certain places. People just have to be frustrated enough. And the worst thing that you can do is to take away mama, Pookie and them, daddy and them house. That's the worst thing you can do. When daddy and Pookie and them start losing their house, you got to see some of those black people go to thinking this is Black Wall Street all over again. Okay? Even if it made sense and they didn't understand what it meant to live in a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city, excuse me, they will find out now. They will find out now. They'll find out now. So the question is going to be, what are they going to do to change this before this time frame lapse? Because they've only got a certain amount of time before they run an audit and they find some way to reset this tax bill.
Blaming Springfield. And then when all these people, when they go to these town hall meetings and you send your puppets, they lie and they blame the invisible white man. Somehow they are pushing us out of our community. They want our property. They want black people property. They never say who it is. They just say, you know who they are. But when I come up in here, I see all black faces. I see Democrats. So are we talking about the Democrats are pushing black people out of their communities? The Democrats hate black people. The Democrats want our property and replace us with illegal aliens, because you all come in these meetings talking about the invisible white person, but we don't never see him, but we see all of you all here. And then you sit here, all these black faces, you sit here, all Democrats, and you sit here all arrogantly like your seats are secure, like we are not coming after these seats. Just like I told Brendan Johnson over there the first time I spoke on that mic. I said the same thing that's making y'all laugh and here gonna make y'all cry. And then you see what's happening. Same thing here. Now I'm giving y'all warning right here.
There was a season when the Democratic Party had the craziest ground game when it came to local politics. I suspect with all of this that's taking place, we're really gonna see a change when it comes to local politics for the Democratic Party, because even with all of the craziness that's going on in the Republican Party right now, the inward fighting, the America First versus MAGA and all that other stuff, we still haven't seen the Democrats get over themselves. Literally, they're their own worst enemy right now, because this coalition, this umbrella coalition, rainbow coalition, going back to Jesse Jackson Day, right? This rainbow coalition that they push, get it, rainbow coalition. Yeah, that you guys push, it's almost becoming the death of the party. Because when you shed more light on some of this crazy stuff, you got to ask yourself the question, is it worth your peace of mind? Is it worth now taking care of people who come here illegally out of some sense of morality? You feel you have to do it. Is it worth this high-ass tax bill that you're going to be dealing with? Because you guys are funding it. I'm not even talking about what happens downtown in Chicago. The businesses have already left. I was looking at some of the flagship companies that have buildings down there. It's crazy. Detroit has so much shit going on. Chicago can learn from Detroit. They can learn from it. But they continuously repeat this insanity, this craziness. They're seeing a shift from what normally would be covered by commercial taxes, by a lot of these commercial buildings and companies that move into these buildings and things like that. If they're vacant, you can't collect from them. You can't collect from them. Now, is this going to change the scope of Chicago?
The same thing that's making y'all laugh in here is going to make y'all cry. Mark my words. See, y'all sit here too comfortably, thinking that everything, black people stupid, that we don't understand what's going on, that we going to vote blue no matter who. And all y'all got to do is use the race card. All y'all got to do is call white supremacy, the white man. But we're in a heavily Democratic city from top to bottom. State and city, all Democrats. So can we say that the Democrats are racist white men or white women? Who is it? Because this is what y'all telling us. So I'm letting you all know, Chicago flips red. We are not paying these taxes. We are calling for a boycott on these taxes. Nobody is playing this game no more. We won't pay our taxes until we get a forensic audit on where all our money is going. We're demanding that. We're asking President Trump to send the feds here.
30 seconds.
The DOJ here. We need a forensic audit on where our money is going. And we are not paying no property taxes. And we are calling for a boycott. And we're going around to every ward in the city and calling for it. You all going to learn to stop playing with us. And you all going to learn that you all work for us. And none of these seats secure. And we coming for those seats. And you can sit there like you sitting there, like you unbothered, all of you all. Yeah, but you getting up out of those seats.
Next speaker is Dennis.
You getting up out of there. You can sit down there and be all about you getting up out of it. It's the arrogance to me.
And right now, community.
It's the arrogance. It's the arrogance. Do you know that when these tax bills go out, man, they do it based upon recent solds and how those solds went up in value. So if a property sold, okay, and it goes up in value, 100,000 more, two doors down from you, 3 doors down from you, very similar to yours, is going to affect your property value, because now you're showing the county that, hey, these properties are worth more in value. I know that Chicago didn't go through that level of appreciation that some of these other places went through. I can tell. I know. I spoke to investors that buy down there, wholesalers that wholesale there, all of that stuff. Fix and flip. Those days, they've made it so hard for people in that business to actually make a penny, to earn money. Forgetting that it's the mom and pops that actually do this. It's not these big corporations, even though they have a footprint in it. It's still the mom and pops. Mom and pops can't even move with a level of surety up there when you talk about the numbers. They can't. You guys did it to yourself. You guys did it to yourself. Nobody started to talk about this. This wasn't an issue when Biden was in office. Y'all let him quiet y'all down. Y'all hushed up. Y'all said y'all got on the anti-Trump bandwagon. Y'all did all this vicious shit that I saw, and people got upset. They said, why you want to talk about politics? And say using Trump's name was such an evil thing to do. What does he know? All of this stuff. All of this. But you got a mayor that's robbing from you. You got a governor over in Minnesota that acts like he doesn't know. And he almost was your VP. Almost was your VP. It's funny. Nothing can continue to blow up. It has to retract. It's got to come in. It's got to come in. It's got to come in, guys. You really don't know. It's got to come in. We're on the brink of one of the most global, one of the most deep changes, fundamental changes in the fabric of our country. And I keep saying it, and I see it because when I look at the documentaries, when we transition from horse and carriage to trains, when we transition from kerosene that was used to light houses to electricity, this is no different. When we went from no internet to internet, now we're going from white collar services, jobs, being taken by AI, a slimming of the market, which is whenever that happens, I'm not saying that it's not going to expand, but knowing how to actually navigate AI and things that's taking place on the tech side is going to change how you do business. It's going to roll downhill, and they're screaming about taxes, but you miss the back end, that money going over there to those immigrants that are these illegal immigrants that are replacing you guys in the workforce. Tied with AI, the inability to actually implement it in your business or your everyday life. Like I told my wife the other day, she was talking about something, I think it was talking about house duties and something she had to do with. I said, why don't you just ask AI to make a workflow out for this with the kids? But how? And I'm sorry, I know why it's like that, because to take the minute to actually think in your everyday life, when you get home from work, when you got to deal with kids, when you got to look at bills, when you got to look at the extra curricular activities, and now you got somebody screaming on the internet saying you need to do 2 hours worth of some implementation of AI into your life on a daily basis to make your life better, blah, blah, blah. You don't see it now, but in the next 5 years, it's going to happen. This is it. These taxes are going to be the least thing you're concerned with, because even if they get the taxes brought down, going back to what I said again, you still got to deal with you're living in a sanctuary city. And you guys have volunteered to take care of all the illegals that cross the border. And you just are, it's part of your Rainbow Coalition, Chicago. It's part of it. It's part of the Rainbow Coalition you're part of. Your mayor he's jockeying for the DNC dollars for his next election. And everybody sitting there that's saying that this is cool. I'm a conspiracy theorist when I tell you they paid, they covered, they taken care of. Y'all say I'm crazy. People will say I'm a conspiracy theorist with it. That's why I just want to move through with some of these topics, because it's plain and it's simple to me. I see it. If Nancy Pelosi makes 174 million sitting in Congress, your local politicians make bag. They make a bag, like a real bag.
Congratulations. Well done.
We've incentivized public service as being the direction or the route to wealth. I know it, because prior to Alex Hormozi actually dropping his most recent book, what is it, $1 Million Models, 9 out of the 10, nonfiction best-selling books were political books from politicians. Yeah. 9 of the 10 in the top 10 spot. You think a nonfiction book would belong to someone like what's his name? Warren Buffett, any of these other business leaders that you got. But no, nonfiction belong to politicians.
Leaders on Chicago's West Side are sounding the alarm over what they call an immoral and orchestrated land grab.
So skyrocketing property taxes that we have covered, including some that have more than doubled, could lead to longtime homeowners and businesses losing everything here. Christian Farr is joining us with what these leaders want done right now and why they say time is running out here. Christian?
Yeah, they have been fighting for some time now. Now, last night there was an emergency town hall where hundreds of outraged West Side residents demanded relief from rising Cook County property taxes. There was a big increase in the South and West Sides, but other more affluent communities were not hit as hard.
The demand is simple.
At the Columbus Park Refectory Tuesday morning, West Side community leaders gathered in their continuing fight to address the high increase in property taxes for poor neighborhoods on the South and West Sides.
Your politicians over there are lying to y'all. They not for y'all. They never were for you. They never were for you.
Calling for a freeze of the taxes at the current level.
Oh, New Mount Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church. Newmont Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church. Man, when will we learn? Like when will we notice and realize when all of this noise is just designed to keep us doing what, look, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy guy. Listen, I'm not. But you gotta listen to me, guys. You gotta listen to me. These are the same organizations that get paid, that Kamala Harris paid money, her campaign paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend her position, advocate for her in the local cities and municipalities that she was running to gain a foothold in. Money, NAACP, some of these local Baptist churches, some of these local coalitions, some of these local nonprofits, and they got the millions, they got the hundreds of thousands, they got the money. And they went and voted for her. While they're doing this, the same vote to put her in place is the same vote that's killing their tax bill right now. That's dragging this shit out. That's going to make them lose their homes and their businesses. The same vote. Oh, because that's the same machine that they're funding, that they're paying her. That DNC machine, that same machine right there. My God. When they say that rich people knew loopholes, when they say millionaires and billionaires loopholes, do you not realize that there is so many loopholes that you can use to actually make sure shit like this doesn't happen? Where you can live in a house and it can belong to your LLC and you can build wealth from that and adding other pieces to it. Do you not know? This is the most primitive. This is the issue where the people who don't know how to leverage the laws that are put in place for their betterment, they rather do a social justice advocacy. This is me. Listen, to hell with it. I'm going to use these damn loopholes, okay? I'm going to use them the best that I can, and I'm going to use them every freaking time. I'm going to use them. I'm not going to sit down here and say, oh, I don't like a person like Trump because he filed bankruptcy on his business multiple times. I will file it in a heart, doggone beat. I will. Y'all can act like that's some moral high ground to stand on, but your moral high ground where you can't even put the freaking, you don't even put, we have a phrase where put the gas mask on yourself first before you put it on anybody else. You can't put the gas mask on yourself in your community. You can't do that because the people that you vote into power, they don't really want your vote. They just want the power. They don't want the responsibility of taking care of you or looking out for you or being an advocate for you on a local level or even a national level, doing what's right for your wealth, your generational wealth. They don't. That's it. Roland Martin is part of, yeah, he is. All of these guys who stand up here and they look like the most eloquently put together, college graduated. Oh yeah, I achieved this and I have to go through this academic, rigorous journey in order to get to this place to tell you, profoundly tell you that Trump is wrong and they're all coming. I never said that everything Trump does and says is right. But I do know this for a fact. The time of giving away money to people who don't give two shits about us has to come to an end sometime. It really does. Whether you're talking about fraud over in Minnesota or you're talking about this. Because somebody's getting a check. People are still getting a check off of you guys in Texas. You got I'm sorry, Chicago. You got to. Somebody pays someone to ignore this problem. Somebody does it. Like somebody convinces and persuades someone that this is an okay thing to do to their constituents, the residents of the city. They and slowly push out and make every last company that can actually pay a good wage to people who would actually need it, they push them out. They push them out. It logically makes no sense. But when you are only led by color and that's the only thing that you see, you get to the point and you realize now the only color that they see is the color green, not your black ass. That's it. Not sorry, not. It's not.
The people downtown a year to work with us to straighten this out.
Even older homeowners who have access to tax breaks are struggling to pay these growing bills.
You retire, you think you're going to have enough money, and then your property taxes go up more. So that break that they think they gave me didn't help because the taxes went up.
The Cook County Treasurer's Office says the south and west sides were hit the hardest, with West Garfield Park seeing a 133% increase in property taxes and Inglewood seeing an 82% increase. But
oh my God. I'm gonna make this math make real sense. Let me math this out real quick. This is why this is insane. If you have a tax bill of $2,500, you divide it over 12 months, part of your monthly payment that you pay, principals, interest, taxes, right? You're escrowing about $208 a month in taxes. At that level right there, most of the counties that when you're paying about $2,500, your house typically runs somewhere around the mid threes on up. 300, mid threes on up. Imagine seeing it going from 2,500 times, oh my, what? That's insane. That's insane. Who can pay their bills?
17 north and northwest side communities saw increases under 10%, and more specifically, affluent Lincoln Park was hit with only a 5.9% increase.
The man assessed us, but he didn't assess downtown. He didn't assess any corporations. He only assessed the people that can't pay.
In response to today's press conference, Cook County Assessor Fritz Kage's office once again pointed blame at the Cook County Board of Review, saying when its commissioners reduced assessments for commercial properties during the appeals process, they shifted about $700 in property taxes onto each homeowner in Chicago.
And that makes sense because if you're talking about, wow, God have mercy. Why? They reduced the assessment of commercial properties during the appeals process. Why? Commercial is supposed to carry the residential. Commercial has the money to do it. They have the bread to do it. And the job is to advocate in the city with some of these some of these guys that's over these different districts to bring in the commercial business so that they can carry most of this burden, not to pass it on to the people, not to.
Last week, Commissioner Larry Rogers said Kage can fix this problem.
He's over-assessed those properties, and he can lower them. He's done it for the northern suburbs, and he can do it for West Garfield Park, Lawndale, and other African-American communities.
And this conversation is continuing. Tomorrow, Cook County Assessor Fritz Kage will hold a press conference with South and West Side leaders. His office, again, is going to blame the Cook County Board of Review commissioners, saying they hand out tax breaks to big downtown properties, which then impact those poor communities, of course, on the South and West Side.
That doesn't seem to explain why they wouldn't go up in north side neighborhoods like Lincoln Park if it was just residential.
Right, there are assessments done at different times. Like last year, it was the south suburbs. They saw some big increases. Hopefully, maybe there will be a consideration about that freeze because people are really hurting right now.
No question. All right, thanks so much, Christian.
The commercial portion in real estate is getting hit, not just in Chicago. So Atlanta's got a big issue with this also. They're coming up on these assessments that were offered to some of these corporations, some of these live work communities they incentivized to actually build, okay? And they don't want to renew this tax assessment, this tax program for them. In essence, it's still shifting the burden away from the commercial sector, the business sector, onto the residents. And I like what Donald Trump said when I was listening to one of his, he was in Oval Office. Having the ability to write off certain things on your taxes that only was available either to the rich or to those who own businesses. One thing he also pushed was writing off your car, your interest on your car, because commercial people can do it. If you have a business, you can do that. If your car is under your LLC, the purchase of it, you can do that. Not just the weight of it, but writing off all interest on it. They can't see what's happening and what they're contributing to. I don't see on a larger scale, when you have all of this that's taking place, uncertainty in the markets, and you don't renew these taxes, or you do this stupid shit like Chicago does and shift that from the commercial side onto the residential side, you're only making the problem worse. Now in Atlanta, we had the Publix that was closing in Atlantic Station. We had the DSW that was closing in Atlantic Station. And now we got a third one. I think we got a third one. We got a Banana Republic. Now, why is that important? Because for the last 20 years, Atlantic Station, Midtown Atlanta, touted itself, it boasted of being one of the best tax incentive areas for commercial properties, for people to build commercial properties, for businesses to come and work there, come and build there, put their businesses here. Atlantic Station is in the worst situation because what they're not talking about when they say Atlantic Station residents, you've got all of these little condo communities that have built up around the Publix, the DSW, all of the Banana Republic, the H&M, the skating ring, the ice skating ring. This, what was it at one time? Train station that they converted over to a live, work, play community. If they think that the numbers, if they think that deals aren't going to come out of this, mark my word, if you're listening to this right now, there will be deals in this Atlantic Station market area. And these deals are going to come. And if you like getting into a condo, if you just want a second piece of property, if you can get it at the right price and you can ignore some of these HOAs and not be moved by whatever, picking up a 1-bedroom, 1-bath at Atlantic Station will become like gravy, almost like what we saw during the time when the market was crashing. Not that big, but still very, very lucrative still, because you've already shifted the dynamics that you're going to force another grocery store and some of these other stores, anchor stores, you're going to force some anchor stores to come in. It's going to change the complexion of what's going on down there. And I don't mean black and white complexion. I mean, we got enough crap going on in Atlantic Station. It's going to make it where residents who live there, they sell those condos and they move out. And it's happening whether they believe it or not.
This morning, another business says it's closing for good at Atlantic Station.
So that makes 3 just this month alone. Atlanta News First anchor Syria Sandlin is live in studio. Syria, some neighbors are a bit concerned about the future of the area. I mean, even us here just in Midtown, that's where I go to get my lunch at Publix.
There are neighbors.
No one will be getting it for long.
Yeah, I know.
There are neighbors. A lot of people are really concerned about what's going on at Atlantic Station. You know, Atlantic Station opened back in 2005 behind the marketing campaign Live, Work, Play. 20 years later, some fear the mixed-use neighborhood is starting to fade. Banana Republic, Publix, and DSW all announcing they will close in the next 2 months. It is important to note when Atlantic Station opened, the area was declared a tax allocation district, which gave businesses an incentive to move in. The tax allocation district funding expired a year ago. There are 6,000 people who live in Atlantic Station. Another 9 million visit the community every year. The president of the Atlantic Station Civic Association says he is worried about the viability of the neighborhood in the years to come.
Okay, real quick. Tax allocation district is a redevelopment financing tool, which I said they used it to redevelop. It lets a city use future increase in property taxes to pay for today's improvements in a defined area. So future increase in property taxes to pay for the development. The city draws a boundary around an area that needs redevelopment. Property taxes at the current value keep going to the schools and government like normal. As development happens and values rise, the new incremental tax revenue is diverted into a TAD fund. The fund pays for infrastructure and incentives, roads, utilities, parking decks, parking site cleanups. After the TAD expires, all taxes flow normally in the tax roll. So this will affect any companies that are there or any developed properties that are there. I can see now the increase in taxes in order to take care of some of these infrastructure, utilities, parking decks, which all these things need to be maintenance. It's going to rise in the commercial side. And when it goes up, it's going to go to the people who lease it, the Publix, the DSWs, the Banana Republics. Now, with that increase, also, it's going to make it more expensive for them to actually run and do business there. That's why Publix is leaving. Even though Publix makes a ton of freaking money in Midtown Atlanta, a ton of freaking money. You got all these residencies in the condos around there. You got 12 over there. You got at least 3 big condo buildings over there. Each condo building at least has 150, if not 200 people in there. You think about it. This is why Atlanta traffic looks shitty also in Midtown. I'm telling y'all. Oh no. So now that money rolls over, that tax burden rolls over to the corporate, to the commercial building owners. They in turn now roll it over to those who lease the spots for them. And hell, now when you're talking about a market where everything is high already, why the hell do we want to even have a store there? It benefits us. It doesn't benefit us at all. It doesn't. Now, Andre Dickerson, and I haven't been a critic of Andre Dickerson. I haven't. I think he's done a great job up until now for Atlanta. But let's be for real, Andre 3000, Andre Dickerson, Mayor's Ball, $10,000 a plate, Ball and Mayor. They should have already seen this coming. And if they really care about what's taking place over there, they make the changes. Because,
you're literally seeing a community that was in creation for 20 years crumbling in front of you. We need answers. We need the city officials. We need Hines. We need Morgan Stanley, everybody to come to the table.
Hines is the real estate developer. Morgan Stanley, of course, is the capital partner. A spokesperson for the PR firm representing Atlantic Station sent us a statement saying that finding a grocer to move in is one of their top priorities. And there's been no word on what might replace those 3 businesses that are closed.
Hey, y'all remember the last video I posted about Publix closing down at Atlantic Station? Well, since that video dropped, 2 more major businesses have announced that they're leaving, right? Publix is officially closing at the end of this month, and it's just not another store closing. This is a full-service grocery store. Over 6,000 residents who live right here in Atlantic Station depend on that grocery store. Yeah, there's a Target nearby, but let's be honest, that Target is not a full grocery store and is not built to serve this entire community. And just yesterday, people showed up. Residents were picketing, holding signs, standing on the bridge, worried, frustrated, and asking the same question. What's next? What's going to be the grocery store that replaces this Publix? Now, here's where it gets more interesting. DSW is also closing, expected in January. There are rumors that Nordstrom may take its place, but as for now, nothing has been officially confirmed. And on top of that, Banana Republic is going to. No official word yet on what's replacing it or if anything will. So when you zoom out, this isn't just about a grocery store or a shoe store. This is about retail confidence, community planning, and quality of life in one of Atlanta's most visible mixed-use developments. When essential services leave, people start asking hard questions. I want to know, what do you think? What do you think is going to replace Publix? What do you think about Atlantic Station? Is it evolving or losing its balance?
Shout out to Uncle Bill buys houses.
Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you follow your boy at Uncle Bill Buy Houses for more real estate tips and news.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're left in a situation, and I said this, and I'm going to continue to say this. We're going into one of the best times to actually buy real estate. We're going into one of the best times. I don't know if it's going to be the best time to actually be a realtor and sell real estate. Oh, no. But it definitely would be the best time if you're a buyer and you've been sitting on the side and you want to buy. So it's going to be the best. It's going to be sad for homeowners. It's going to be great for investors. It's going to be sad for people that have to sell, pressure selling, relocating, whatever the case may be, lost a job. Wealth is never transferred when everything is perfect. Wealth is transferred when things are wrong, when things are bad. Check out the book, Snowball by Warren Buffett. Great, great book. Wealth is made when things are bad. So it'll make you think twice about everything that happened in 2020 and leading up to 2020. If you think you got a deal then, it's going to get deeper now. It's going to get deeper. It's going to get deeper. Because I know people over there aren't going to really sit back and just take it. That's just not how they're built. But one thing I can tell you, we appreciate your vids, and Transparent in Atlanta is interesting on how it has been changed. Atlanta's really been changing. I remember when they built this Atlantic Station deal, man, they had a bar. It was dope. The nightlife was dope. I would take my girl. We'll go sit there at the bar. You can look out and see the whole city skyline. It was just a beautiful view. They didn't have as many. They had at least one of those condo buildings wasn't there. But I remember touring it in 07, 08. Man, what's so sad, I knew I had to do this channel and talk about this because the reality of it is a lot of people don't really get, we forget about how things were 08 when the market was crashing, 07, 06. Some people know it, some people didn't know it. I had no clue. So I didn't quite know what to make of it. I knew I just needed a check. God doggone, I needed a doggone check. I was just starting real estate. But I see these signs very similar to what took place. And it doesn't have to do with the market. It just has to do with blood in the water coming now from other areas in the market. And when things like this happen, deals come. All the people that kept calling me, and I would get texts, and I would get people that I know refer people to me. Hey man, what do you think about the market? What do you think is going to happen? When am I going to make these? This is when this shit is really going to start. You're going to really start figuring and seeing this thing. And I'm praying that people will actually take the time, even in the middle of all the chaos and craziness, to say, we can make money now. This is the time to actually go, because it's never going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. I had friends buy $5,000 houses in the west side of Atlanta. And I'm going to tell you, they wasn't my friends at the time. We became friends working on a deal, and I'm like, dude, where did you get like 5,000? Yeah, Leon, it's been sitting there since 06, and we're at 05 now, just paying the taxes on it. It's just going to happen. I'm already getting calls from people for creative real estate deals, taking over people's mortgages, asking for owner financing, all kinds of stuff. It's only going to get deeper. It's only going to get deeper. And I say it because I'm saying this because I want the people to win. This is not, please take this. I ain't selling y'all shit. Okay, listen, I'm not selling y'all no program. This is not a program sales pitch. If anything, I got PDFs for you. If you want to be an agent, you can become an agent, fill it out, and you can learn the steps that you need to take. I don't want none of y'all money. I don't want that. Because one thing I learned from this good market is that and I'm going to tell you, You don't need to look to people to be part of what you want to do in this real estate space. You just need to listen to God. A lot of your information is on you can find on YouTube. And yeah, you could pay for a little program to learn, because I bought a book. I remember how I learned. I bought a book, and they didn't have online courses. Dean Graziosi, that's how I got introduced to investing and creative deals in real estate and stuff like that. And it was a $19.99 book. And since after that, I consumed everything I could possibly find that was free, and I learned it. It's out there. When money just moves from one place to the next, that's all it's doing. It's just moving from one place to the next. But it's not going to move to that place unless you're able to, unless you understand what's taking place and you're able to catch it. Because I didn't know enough to catch it at that time. I didn't know 5K. I was more concerned with all the things in life and all the other things in real estate and all this lie and Fugeezy out here for real estate agents. Oh yeah, you can become an agent. That's the sexy and all this other crap. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a bag, but it's not an identity. Please, some of these people, some of y'all make it. I like the areas like Atlantic Station. Yeah, I like it too. Battery, Colony Square. I'll check out the Snowball book. Check it out. Check it out. It's a long book. When I say long, I think Snowball is an 8-hour book on audio. It's like freaking this thick. 8 hours. I only could read it when I was driving. I think we're driving down to Florida to the beach. I put it on. It played for 5 hours. Coming back, play for and it really didn't play for the whole 5. But it still took more time to the book. I had to play when I was getting back. It's a big book, but it's so many life lessons, and it's written so clear, just basic. I mean, anybody can actually listen to it. It's easy listening, and you'll just get taken by the stories. But every story has a learning lesson. Every story has a learning lesson. And I wish, I really, really wish, 1,000 pages. Yeah. I really wish that some of this information that the Black community, and I want to say Black, man, if you're not Black, you listening to this, I'm for you too. Really, I am. I just want people to see, to understand that some of the narratives that we get, that is a lie, that is not true. To actually believe that we're going into a bad time, and to be in a place of depression, and to be in a place when you look at the holiday season and people can't pay their bills and people falling behind on this. All of these things, I keep saying, is designed to distract you from the money that's moving. Even the bills that come to your door that you're like, man, how am I going to pay this? This came out of nowhere, because it seems like everybody got something they want to charge for now. When it's the complete opposite. This is the time you make the offers, you construct sound offers, you find where you want to fit, and you make money. This is the time you sit back and you look at where the bleeding is taking place for you to actually make money. For me, I already noticed, and I see that DSCR loans, investment loans, they're going to become a big, big thing. So I went ahead and got a partner in that space, okay? For them to run the loans, for me to bring it to them. And sure enough, because creative financing requires some level of funding on the back end, non-traditional, I'm all for it. Any of y'all can go do this. That's an easy, I know a guy, he does stuff like this part-time and makes an easy 20, 30,000 just doing commercial real estate loans that you don't have to get a license for. You just need to find a company and they fill out some paperwork, and now you can go advocate and sell their loan products. I'm telling, it's so many ways to make money during this time. The guys who have larger portfolios, I have a friend, he's got, man, how many doors does Frank have underneath there? He got a ton of doors. Wanting to sell his portfolio in order to go into the money lending space. It's so much. So don't let them make you think that this is not this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time. If you can just navigate the craziness and the chaos you can make money. You can make some good money during this time. Now, my other thing with Atlantic Station is in the middle of this, all that's going on, Atlantic Station has really tried to change its image, because there was a point in time that Atlantic Station was really falling apart after it was put up because the market dropped and the market just kept going. Now it came back, but we still got this issue, and Atlanta is suffering big time right now. And I hate to say it, it's true. Listen, we're not Chicago. We're not Memphis. We're not some crazy parts of Philadelphia. But we do have an issue with violence that's taking place in some of the areas that you wouldn't suspect. And I personally believe part of this happens because you do have a condition in the economy, and then you have parents that are really trying hard. Some of them are. I'm not going to say that we just got bad parents out here, but we do have a bunch of parents, because when things get strained, they got to go ahead and find ways to get that money. Unfortunately, the kids become less of a priority. I'm for promoting kids to have something to do, but in Atlanta, you still got a lot of parents that don't look at their kids as being assets. So they let them just run off and just do crazy things. And if I don't talk about this, when you see that on a national scale, when they say, hey, Trump's sending troops to Atlanta, I'm putting this out there. So if you got kids, we don't never go down this route, because I don't want troops here. I don't want none of that crap. But this is the third story over the last 60 days of either these kids shooting each other, no place to go and nothing to do, parents not taking care of them, not watching out for them, and it's happening more and more. It's almost that thing where the stresses are applied and you don't know where to put your attention in, and it's not in your kids, it's in trying to keep your head above water. Listen, I am not going to be in a place where I feel like I've done everything perfect. My kids ain't out here though. No, they're not. I got them jokers doing stuff. But I understand the pressure. I mean, I came from my mom and my dad lived in separate houses. They were living together up until a period of time, and then lived in separate houses. So it was a period of time where they were separated. So I dig it coming from a semi-mother home, but I still have my pop there. I get it. Some of them don't. Some of them don't. Atlantic Station is taking on that place too. So I don't know how they're going to do this between the stores that are leaving, and now you have shootings that are taking place there. It was a great place to be at one time. A great place. My mentor told me she noticed they began playing certain types of music at Atlantic State. Dude, oh man, I could say something about that. Yeah. We do that to ourselves. If you own property over there, it is your job, it is your duty to maintain your property value, to address these different things that are taking place in Atlantic Station with the management. That's why they're picketing. That's why they're out there protesting. That's one of the things. And they really need to get further into it, because this just happened this weekend over here. This just happened.
This is 15-year-old Cameron Jackson. It's as we're learning more about what happened on Saturday night. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for Fox 5 News at 5. I'm Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Atlanta police held a news conference this afternoon showing new video of the shooting, also increasing the reward for information.
We now know that this is a double homicide after that second person injured was killed. Now, we first told you about Zion Charles, the 12-year-old that was killed Saturday, but take a look at this picture sent by the family. We've learned 15-year-old Cameron Jackson died Tuesday as he was one of 6 people that were shot. Atlanta police released also these images of 2 of the 3 shooters from that incident. They need your help finding. We are seeing surveillance images after the gunman, along with a group of people, went to catch a train at the Art Center MARTA station after that shooting. Police say they could be heard celebrating and cheering after they injured 6 people by gunfire. Now, another sad twist, we've learned that Zion was not the intended target. In fact, he's believed to be friends with the suspects and was with them just moments before that shooting.
As you see on the video, before they got to the place where the shooting occurred, he's not with them anymore. I'm not sure if they knew that he's dead at that point, but they definitely knew that people was hurt and people were shot. You can hear them talking on the train. You can hear them talking and celebrating, talking about the gunshots and things like that.
Coming after Thanksgiving and headed to Christmas, the last thing that they should be preparing for is a funeral of their children.
To deal with. So at this point, it is believed that Cameron Jackson, the 15-year-old that was killed, was the intended target. Police say one of the gunmen could be heard saying, quote, "That's Cameron, that's our position," end quote. So the other people that were shot in the line of fire, police have not confirmed if this was gang related, but say they will continue to follow this, of course. They also say that they continued the tirade after they got on the train. They were flashing their guns. They were throwing up gang signs. They also went to a separate gas station where they antagonized a separate group of people as they rode away from the scene. Now, we're also learning the other 4 people that were injured in this shooting were treated at the hospital and have been released. But again, this is just a heartbreaking story throughout the city that has caught national attention here of this double homicide. The reward for Crime Stoppers has increased to $10,000. That's the latest here at APD. I'm Eric Perry, Fox 5 News.
12-year-old and 15-year-old. 12 and 15. There used to be a time in Atlanta where they had this thing called the Red Dog Unit. Red Dog was responsible for chasing down gangbangers in the PJs and in some of these areas like Lakewood that needed to be, that they know they wanted to do some level of revitalization too in preparation for the Olympics, 96 Olympics. After the 96 Olympics, after that change, Red Dog Unit slowly started to go out. If you know the story of BMF, they were the unit that was on the heels of BMF. Got national recognition. So they disbanded them. But it seems like when I've been looking at what's been taking place in Atlanta, it's been a combination of gang and scammers. Just slowly making it difficult and hard for people to actually appreciate the nightlife and appreciate Atlanta as a whole. Because I don't like it where they know this city as being a city where it's predominantly scammers, but that's what you see. And these gangs are not just in the city. I mean, you're talking about Gwinnett, which at one time was a pretty good area, right? Talking about North Georgia, not as much, but still there. Yeah, you're talking about the east side that they're in. Yeah. So Atlanta's got a lot of crazy things that are happening right now. So the term, when I tell people what Atlanta was and what it is right now, I don't know what to make of this city. But I do understand and I do know for a fact that it's not the same Atlanta. It's not. And it's never going to be back to what it was before. It's just.
Y'all, tell me why they.
That's it.
Ow! What the fuck? Where the fuck we go? Where's we going? I'm going home. Where's we going? They still shooting? Oh my gosh.
No, yes, go inside somewhere. Now, they're running. Yes, they need to stay. Stay where you're at, please.
Sasha, this is what y'all invite me to? That's not funny.
You didn't take nothing serious.
Mimi, you was just laughing whenever you seen the white people getting up under the table.
You said it.
Mimi, you, like what? We're trying to eat and stuff. No, big. Where Chrissy? The hospital. They got, what happened? Oh, stop playing.
No, they have to hide.
I never been in nothing like this. I really don't know how to act. Do I get on the ground?
Damn. Dang.
There's always something, bro. There's always something. What is going on?
You don't have somebody walk out. You didn't have all
You need to handle your badass YNs. Y'all need to handle them. Y'all need to. And I know that, and it's bad because you have so many great young black men that's trying to do some things that's really trying to stay away from that crap. But then you have a good amount of these YN thinking that it's cool to, y'all got to handle them. When I say y'all, I hate saying that in a general phrase, just like you see them on the street, you stop them. Let's make this smaller. If you have children at home, they don't need to sleep in. They need to have an activity to do, and it doesn't need to be TV, and it needs to be something that stretches their brain and stretches their body. We know this already. We know and we see this already because these kids have effects that affect our property values. They affect our sense of peace. I won't take my wife to Atlantic Station because of this. I won't. I wanted to go to Atlantic Station the other time to go skating during this holiday season, but I said hell no. Hell no. And I won't go into Atlanta without being strapped. I won't do it. I won't do it. If you think going into Atlanta and I wasn't always like that, man. I wasn't always thinking like that. But it's just been so much stuff with this city that I won't even go to look at a house without being strapped. I won't drive down into the city without being, for anything, I'm always strapped. And then sometimes I got more than one gun. Because you just never know. You just never know. And this is the sad part. This is how Atlanta's changing, man. Yeah. Ooh. All right. I'm gonna run this last one. Then I'm gonna roll out. Unless somebody got a specific one. Because I had some other ones I wanted to talk about. Oh man. We're not gonna talk about the voting. Atlanta City, y'all just admitted that, 2020, there's a bunch of votes that you guys double counted. All right, I'm going to do this last one, and I'm going to roll out here. The reason I think I'm going to cover this one is when I saw that this house was $2.5 million and these people decided they're not going to leave this house, I knew that this squatter thing, which has ran rampant through Atlanta, I saw it in Cobb County. I saw it in DeKalb County. I saw it in D.C. When I said that this is a national epidemic and it's going to happen more, I don't think nobody took this serious. Some people in the comments were like, "Oh yeah, you don't need a place to live," and y'all wanted to advocate and fight for these squatters. No, fuck advocating and fight for these squatters, guys. Please, these people are squatting in houses that don't belong to them. They belong to someone. And all it takes is for it to happen on your block, in your neighborhood, and then you're going to feel the way that we feel.
For months, Spotlight on Maryland has been investigating incidents of alleged squatting across the state and the impact on local neighborhoods.
Tonight, Gary Collins.
Can you hear this? Yeah. Can anybody hear this? I want to make sure if you can hear this video.
Investigation takes him to a Washington, D.C. suburb where residents are demanding action.
Yeah, we've heard about squatters in the news. Never thought it would be next door to, where we all grew up.
James O., a man who grew up in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood in Bethesda, is one neighbor of nearly an entire block who has contacted Spotlight on Maryland to investigate an alleged squatter takeover.
I don't like this video. It's playing very low in my earphones. Very, very low. I probably got to find another one with this. I want to cover this not with this bad audio. It's got to be better audio. Yeah, it's got to be better audio. But man, I'm gonna roll out. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna do this every day this week because I got a ton of stories, and I definitely want to cover them before they start piling up on me. Man, if you jumped on the stream, I appreciate you guys showing up. Like, subscribe, follow. Please share it with someone. This is what I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Typically, we start at 12. Sometimes it's 1, just depending on what these real estate deals is looking like, and I'm talking on the phone. Trying to get that done. But definitely we started at 1. Tomorrow we're going to start it at 12. We'll start at 12 back again. But hey guys, like, subscribe, follow for more content. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. Appreciate you taking the time to rock with me. And I'm always going to bring you the best that I can in Atlanta living and just around the country. And hopefully I'll share some things that'll help you change your perspective and get the bag. And remember, man, that God loves you during this time and this period. He loves you. And remember who you are, because that is the thing that will help you navigate and weather the storms of what I believe we're in and what's coming on down the line. You guys have a blessed day.